Real News Radio. True, honest, and not fake news.
Today, we're going to talk about some very important events that have been happening, starting with the fact that today's Earth Day. Did you know that?
Oh, yes, I definitely knew about that. I saw a bunch of people. I don't know if it was walking for Earth Day or what it was, but they were marching, I guess was for that March for Science, which is pretty funny. Pretty funny what they're doing, especially since the left likes to deny science.
Yeah, but I mean, there are many genders out there. Just so many, right?
Well, I mean, there's about two that I can think of off the top of my head.
Oh, I never knew that. Wow.
I mean, you know, what the heck's the difference between the gender and the sexuality? I mean, there's gay and straight, there's man, woman, you know. Trans people, they're trans. Like, even they admit to it. They don't want to be trans. They want to be a girl or a guy. They don't want to be like, the whole idea of I'm a trans is like they're like appropriating the trans culture. They want to be a man. They want to be a woman. They're like the Pinocchio, you know. They want to be a real boy.
Yeah, I think it's really weird. I was actually excited to see the marches today, but because I was working on homework. But I really wanted to go up to them and talk about this stuff because they talk about Trump denying science. And they're denying the fact that there are two genders, which is biology by my mind. Of course, some people say it's sex, but that's all confusing. But I saw some tweets on this group's Twitter, which had me really conflicted on how I feel about them. Because you hear the name, it's like March for Science. Oh, that sounds great. You know, March for Science. Oh, yeah, I like science. You know, it's a pretty black and white sort of issue. You know, you're for science, against it. But they have tweets like this. The MOB that Trump dropped, you know, in Afghanistan.
The Moab, not MOB.
Did I say MOB?
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant Moab. I'm getting it's the pollen, man. You know, all this Earth Day, you know, it's getting to me. They said the Moab is one. I'm quoting this. This is in quotes. Actual tweet. One example of how science is weaponized against marginalized people. Ugh. Okay, so are they saying people in the Middle East are marginalized, or is ISIS marginalized? I mean, they're kind of terrorists, and we kind of want to kill them.
Well, the problem with the left is they keep they say it's hashtag not all Muslims, but like they keep defending ISIS. They keep defending radical Islam. So they need to go and choose. Which do they want? Is Islam not related to ISIS? Is Islam not related to terrorism? Or is it? Like this whole idea that the Moab's some sort of... They make us think that we just got like a bunch of like radioactive waste and like landfill and garbage and just dropped it on them. Yeah. No, we just did. It's just a fuel air bomb. You know, it's not like we nuked them. These people and the left is playing into their tactics. I'm not gonna be surprised if we end up like seeing like leftists with like pro-ISIS stuff on them. And it's really ironic too because ISIS and radical Islam, it goes against everything that the left says they believe in. You know, they go and treat women terribly. They have female circumcision, which is absolutely, you know, that's abhorrent. Yeah. All the feminists should be outraged at this, but they're more upset that, you know, Bruce Jenner has problems going to the men's or women's bathroom. They're more upset over the fact that women don't get paid like exactly this. Every woman doesn't get paid the exact same amount as every man, even though women go and take off for maternity leave and they choose to go and study things like women's studies. Like
Equal Pay Act 1963, people, look it up. It's illegal to pay them less.
Well, not just that, but like I'm a college student, you know, and I go and see the amount of scholarships available for women. You know, I went
Don't
to
get a white male scholarship, do you?
I mean, Mila's trying to do that. But,
yes.
You know, they keep doing this stuff and that they keep demanding that women are, you know, it's a rape culture over here, which I extremely doubt. I had this woman with some very moppy hair the other day give me a lecture. You know, this is really scaring me too. I was at this event the other day and there's this woman, she was she had this hair, it was white, it looked like she took like a mop cut off and used it as a wig, and she goes and tries to explain to me about how like terrible it is for women on campus. Like she's afraid that she's just gonna get like assaulted by a man on campus. I'm just like, what do you think this is? This isn't Arabia. I mean, you want to go and import, you know, the people who believe they want more of these refugees and ISIS people over here, and then they complain about a rape culture. You got to go, and that's the one place in the world that there actually probably is a rape culture. There's an actual case you could make. But this woman, she was so so weaponized. And the scariest part was she was like weaponized against society. And the sad thing is, she was in the teaching. She was like a teacher. And this is really scaring me.
Yeah, you want your kid being taught by that?
No,
honestly,
I don't. And
exactly.
There's no way I'm ever gonna go and bring any kid of mine. Hopefully I'll have one at some point. Hopefully I have about 6
I know
of
you
them.
will. I know you will.
I'm gonna have a very good family, but there's no way I'm gonna have them involved in these public schools because I see the sort of people we're hiring, and she's far from the only one too.
Yeah.
I saw I was on Facebook, and I don't know if this is fake news or not, but after that event, I wouldn't be surprised. There was a lesbian teacher. It was in an elementary school, and some kid had a cross necklace in her class, and
how dare he?
And she was offended by that. Made the I think it was a little girl, a little boy, I think it was a little girl, take off the cross necklace because it was offensive. God. And instead offered to go and have her have like it was like an LGBTQ plus ribbon or like all this, and there was like some other like science, like March for Science ribbon.
Science.
It was really just absolutely crazy the amount of propaganda that's being shoved down our little kids' throats. Like, look at the television that they have these days. It's absolutely.
Oh god, I could talk about that for hours. Like, it just gets worse. Like, 'cause you see it everywhere. I mean, I as an atheist, I don't care if you wear a cross in school. It's not doing anything wrong. But like, you have these March for Science people. I'll wrap this up real quick, then we'll get to our main story. But like, they keep going around. What annoys me about this is like when you don't agree with their opinion, it's not common sense. Like, there's something wrong with you. Or like, I saw an interview with Bill Nye, the science guy with the bow tie. Thinks he's some sort of hipster scientist.
He's not a scientist.
He's not a scientist. I don't care what people tell me. You look at his degree. It's only engineering. It's not even physics or biology or chemistry. It's engineering. We have people here, they're engineers, like lots of them. That's all he is. He's nothing special. He just goes on TV and has a persona that somehow sells. But he was like talking to this one Trump guy that wasn't, I think it was like part of Trump's administration or advisor, and he wasn't coming off too good. That was part of the problem. But then Bill Nye just goes, we gotta stop this, talking about this because, we gotta just stop this. We can't have this disagreement. We gotta move on and fix the plan. I'm like, whoa, so this is off the table? We can't have this discussion about theory? I do believe in climate change, but it's still a theory. You can still be skeptical about, but he's like, no, you can't. Well, that's what science is, being skeptical. Why can't you do that? It's insane. It just kind of pissed me off because, like, you see the Women's March, now you see the March for Science. Like, they keep doing these things. They're like, so, like, if you're against us, you're against women. If you're against us, you're against science. They keep trying to play that game, and that kind of annoys me because it's more complex than they make it out to be.
Well, the whole thing with their ideology, it's this sort of... you have to believe in every little bit that they believe in. If you like go a little bit off, like you have to go and conform to their beliefs on like feminism, on global warming, on gay right, like not just gay rights, like like gay, like transgender ideology, gender theory, pay. If you disagree on even a simple, just like a simple bit, they'll go and throw you off from the gulag. They'll go and treat you like you're worse because like they'll just go and treat you like the absolute enemy. If you're like a leftist and you have some disagreements with them, you can't disagree. It's hegemonic. And then you go and look at the right, and like just the other day,
all over the place. Yeah,
they had that whole thing with Trump, and like some people are more libertarians, some are more just like conservative.
Yep. A perfect example of that is the Syrian airstrikes or missile strikes. We were for it, but there were plenty on our side that were against it. And we had arguments and debates. It got pretty heated at times. But at the same time, we're still friends. We still joke around at the end of the day. We're still getting along. We still accept each other. There's none of this like, oh, you disagree with President Trump on one thing? Oh, we're going to kick you out now. No, it's just like, maybe it says something about you. Like, okay, maybe you really believe this and you really believe that. But it doesn't, we don't, alienate people because we have diverse views. But speaking of all this talk of candidates and elections, the one thing that's coming up tomorrow, if you are living in France and listening to us, which I highly doubt we have any French viewers, but hopefully we do, because tomorrow is the French election, or the first part of it, that is. Now I'm going to explain the election real quick and explain each of the main candidates. and then we're going to have some reactions to it. But basically how France's election works is that tomorrow's the first round, where if you get a majority of the votes, because they have a lot of different candidates, if you get the majority of the votes, you automatically win, you're done. Now, if there is no majority, you move on to the second round, which is a runoff of the two highest scoring candidates. That's on May 7th. And so, their election, I think, is pretty fair in that sense, but you're going to hear a lot of coughing because I have ridiculously terrible pollen right now. But the main president of France, Hollande, he's not even running. He's so unpopular, he's not even running. So instead we have, I'm going to try to go from the far left all the way to the far right, or however this is going to go. But on the very far left, the socialist candidate is Jean-Luc Mélenchon. He's a former socialist senator for 30 years. People have described him as the French Hugo Chavez. And he was actually featured in a video game of him shaking people, stealing their money, and then putting it in a collective pot. So he's going to become a meme very soon if he's in that video game. But then as you get more to the middle, you have on the left, he's more left-leaning. He is technically an independent, but Emmanuel Macron, he's sort of like the Justin Trudeau of France, or the Tony Blair version. He's a fake populist, though. He's never held office, but he is a banker. But Hollande, the current president, supports him. And that's where people are saying, okay, he's just propping this guy up to be like his little mini-me successor. So he's not really a populist. And fun fact, I'm going to give a fun fact for all these guys. He's been married to a school teacher that's 25 years older than him. He married his own school. Yeah, I'm like, that's just weird to marry your school teacher who's 25 years older than you.
So I think that actually happened in Florida, but that was that's Florida for you. There's some kid ends up doing the nasty with his with his teacher. She ends up getting sent to jail. She gets out of jail. They marry.
Oh God.
And I think they're still together, and they have 5 kids or something.
Aw, happily ever after.
Well,
this is weird.
If it was the opposite way around, if it was a male school teacher and a female, that would be
that
terrible.
Uproar.
Yeah, but no one talks about that. But
no.
anyways,
can't
French.
talk about that. Yeah, it's the French. So this isn't, it's funny. Hollande, when they found out he had an affair, his approval rating freaking went up.
Well,
people liked him more.
That happened with Bill Clinton too. People like.
See, but Bill Clinton has that sort of, even when he does something that's bad or wrong, he's got that charisma that he's like, I'm Bill Clinton. I can tell you whatever you want. You'll listen to me.
Now he does. He looks like he got. It looks like Hillary was a vampire. Maybe he got AIDS from one of the many women that he's had relationships with. Extracurricular activities.
Ooh, but yeah, it's a weird thing, especially with the French. No offense, French, but you're weird over there. You eat snails and you do this stuff. It's an interesting culture.
Don't
but
knock it till you try it.
That's true.
Is pretty good. I mean, if they showered more often, it'd be even better. I might actually visit it. And if it wasn't for all the Islamic terrorist attacks over there.
Yeah, that's the big issue that's pushing this, because the other candidate you have on the right, Francois Fillon, he calls himself a true conservative, and he talks about he's against Islam, but some say he doesn't have really constructive ways to stop it. And he's had so many scandals. I think it's embezzlement scandals that he's basically not going to go anywhere. And then you have Marine Le Pen, who is the populist candidate. She's the female Trump from the National Front Party, true nationalist. She loves France. She always talks about France. You see her rallies, all have French flags. She's very anti-illegal immigration, very anti-refugee, very anti-Islam, very anti-globalism. And despite all that, you would think she'd have none of the young people voting for him, like Trump. But she has 40% of ages 18 to 24 supporting her. That is huge. Absolutely huge. Now, like you said, there's a high Muslim population in France. That will definitely not help her. And the polls, they're all over the place. They don't show a clear winner. But we all know how accurate the polls were in the States here in 2016. And, of course, just the other day, there was another terrorist attack. A police officer was killed. The guy shouted Allahu Akbar, but the AP said he said God is great. Well, technically, yes, but that's not really. Technically not. Yeah, it's a translation.
They're trying to go and play it down like, oh, this could have been like a Christian guy. No. Like they'll do that in Sweden too, or like in England when there's a Muslim, an Arabian Muslim, they go and say it's an Asian guy just like cutting off someone's head with a machete. Like, how often do you see that happen? Maybe with like a katana or something.
At anime convention.
Well, no, there's so few Asians at anime convention. That's the thing. It's like all a bunch of like.
We found out the hard way.
It's just a bunch of fat white people, and I guess they do have something in common with France because they smell like they don't shower either. No wonder the terrorists can go and find them serious. You just have to go and sniff them out. Maybe Le Pen will go and institute a national shower policy, but it might remind him too much of World War II, so I don't know.
Jesus. Oh, I honestly. She got a little controversy that because like she was saying something about the Holocaust, like France did nothing wrong or something, like they didn't turn over anybody. I don't understand
the thing with France was there was like a Nazi puppet government like put into like. Yeah, if they didn't have that happen, they would have just killed the guy and put a German dude in there. But they just had like some French fascists. But they had Charles de Gaulle in England doing his thing as the government in exile. So I mean, it's really hard to go and blame them too much. I mean, there was Nazi collaborators there. I mean, there's Jewish Nazi collaborators too. Look at George Soros. And guess where he is? He's like a billionaire influencing elections, and they go and blame Russia.
He's paying shills and protesters all the time.
Oh yeah, good lord. That's probably where half that money's coming from for that March for Science.
Yeah, that's the thing with the March for Science is like these organized things, they're so complex where what PAC is funding them, who's giving them money. To say that George Soros paid these protesters is really hard. But if you trace it back, you can find he gave this group money, which gave this group money, which gave it to the protesters, or which, and that's where it gets, technically you could say he paid these people, but he's smart where he doesn't people think he's like giving them checks like in person. Of course not. I mean, come on, he's not stupid. So, yeah, it's really tricky tracking that. But do you think Le Pen's going to win this first round? Because she has to get in the top two, because there's never been a case where, one candidate gets the majority. So, do you think she has a chance? I think after Brexit, after Trump, it's going everywhere. France is probably one of the, next big country that this will happen to. I don't see it happening, anywhere else because she has so much momentum. This recent terrorist attack, which I hate to say it, does help her. And the mass, Muslim immigration and refugees has not helped France. They've had Charlie Hebdo, which was terrible. They had the Nice truck attack, which was terrible. They had the Paris attack where like 100 people were killed, in the Bataclan in the soccer stadium. That was huge and terrible. And so many of these little terrible attacks I can't remember, but there's been so many. And the French are getting tired of it. I know they are. I think she's going to win in the end.
Well, the problem is it might be too late for France. They could have had a demographic shift if they have a bunch of if they have a bunch of Muslim immigrants who are actual citizens, then it won't even be French. I don't even know how bad it is up there, and I know that there's a lot of people because of World War II, they're very afraid of this sort of nationalism like this. They keep conflating it to Nazism, which I don't know how. I don't think that's very accurate. But another problem is their electoral system is very, very weird. Like they have 20 different parties in there.
Oh yeah.
And then they have runoff elections. And what's probably going to happen? I don't know if she's going to win. I think she's going to get in the top two. And then what's going to happen is the other guy's going to form a coalition with all the other people. I think that's how they can do it. I mean, I'm not a French citizen. I don't know their process very well, but I think I've read some things online that might be what happens with her.
Yeah, because I think the two people that are going to go into the runoff are Le Pen and Macron, who's the he says he's independent, but he's just a moderate leftist that's married to his school teacher that's 25 years older than him. I think she has extremely good chance. She, from what I've read, is basically Trump, a little extreme on issues that I extremely disagree with her on, and she's also a little bit more, I guess you could say more more like, I don't want to say better than Trump, but she doesn't make his gaffes like he does, if that's what you'd call him. Because, one of her policies I extremely disagree with is that she wants to ban burqas in public, yarmulkes in public, and any other type of like religious sort of thing, which I think is absolutely, I don't even think that's going to pass. I don't know how their system works, and I don't know how French feel about this, because it's totally different feeling in that country than it is in America. And that's why it's hard to compare these two elections, but I don't like that at all. I don't think most people are with her on that, but I don't think they care in the end. It's like Trump and the Muslim ban. Like, everybody's like, oh, he's got a Muslim ban, you're supporting a guy with a Muslim ban. That's not what they were worried about. Just like in France, it's the working class that's dying. They see their factories rotting out. They want someone that's going to make France great again.
Well, I actually don't mind that burqa ban in France. I don't know why the yarmulke one, that one seems less, I don't really agree with the yarmulke one, but the burqa one, because unlike the United States, France is supposed to be a state for the French people. And if you go and look in history, the French people are Christian. They're more or less Catholic. And whereas the United States is a melting pot, their country, they're not a melting pot. They were never they were never historically a melting pot like the United States. So they should be able to go and determine what they want their own culture to be. Are they banning Muslims? No, they're just banning them from wearing these things in the public atmosphere, which I don't really, if they want to do that in their own country, go ahead. They should be allowed to go and determine how they wanted to do it, because they're having a problem right now with their own identity of their own people. People are saying, like, especially in like Sweden and stuff, like the new Sweden's like not even Swedish, it's like some guy from the Middle East.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Well, that's what she's running on too. She's like, this isn't French. We need to be French. And I'm like, well, you're right, but I don't think you should ban that stuff, because you have the freedom to wear whatever you want. So like, you could dress up as a unicorn, you could dress up as a furry.
I have a
people
problem
do
with
that. I have a problem with the furries.
I know, and especially with the burqas and stuff, they could be using that to hide their identities.
That's true. See, that's where it gets so much gray area in that, but
they're in like being like attacked by terrorists on like a near daily basis. It's like there's new attacks every other day, and it's not so much that the terrorists kill a lot of people. It's that the terrorists, when they do go and kill people, it strikes terror. It makes people afraid to go to work, afraid. It creates fear, and it helps costs millions of dollars in businesses. People will be leaving France, they'll go elsewhere, and it'll essentially destroy the state as it is if it keeps going on without something happening.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated over there. But I'm going to mention this in this last little minute real quick. Did you see Pence at the DMZ in North Korea or South Korea?
I think I saw a picture of that. I don't know. I didn't see too much other than that.
He broke security protocol, and he went outside. Like, they have like these like bunker type buildings, and they're like staring at each other at the DMZ, like the North and the South. He went outside the bunker, which is unheard of, and he just stared at the North Korean soldiers. It was hilarious. He just stayed there like staring, the silver fox, like, come at me, bro. He had that look on him. It was hilarious.
If he didn't hate gay people so much, he should just took out a vape and just like threw it in their face. But I don't think that goes with his ideology,
No, I don't think Mike Pence.
I think he's a bit too straight
clean
for that.
Oh, he's a clean shave, I'll tell you.
I could see him just going like doing a big smoke cloud there. What would the Koreans do?
They take photos. That's what they're doing. They're just taking photos. But 420's passed already, so he can't do that. Now we're going to talk about probably the biggest story of the week, other than the French election, is Bill O'Reilly is gone from Fox News. Now, if you haven't been following this story, basically this has happened over like the past month or so. The New York Times came out with a report that O'Reilly and Fox News had settled 5 lawsuits that were against O'Reilly, dating back all the way from 2002. And these lawsuits were about sexual harassment. And it's estimated that he paid the women that accused him of sexual harassment $13 million just to basically shut him up. Now, the advertisers recently started pulling from the O'Reilly Factor, his show. He actually lost within a week 60 of his advertiser companies. That's half. Half his advertisers just gone in a week. And just the other day, I think it was on Thursday, 21st Century Fox announced that he would not be returning to the Fox News channel, which means they basically fired him. This was all happening while he was on vacation in Italy, so a little rough there. But many of the sexual claims just kept coming out, sexual harassment claims. One of them that stuck out to me was he supposedly called like one of his African American coworkers hot chocolate and did stuff with her. I don't know the full extent of what happened. To be extremely clear, these are all accusations. There is no evidence that he sexually harassed these people. Doesn't mean he did or didn't do it, which I'm going to get into my feelings on that now. But I looked on Wikipedia because I do remember this happened last year. There was also a case where his daughter was testifying of domestic violence where he choked his ex-wife apparently, and then dragged her down the stairs by grabbing her neck. So that sounds a little maybe out there, but I don't know for Riley, because there's that infamous viral video of him where he's on his other show where his teleprompter, he can't understand, can't read, which is pretty simple what he was trying to read. He just screams, "F it, we'll do it live, F it." And he keeps going off and cursing. He's like, the thing sucks, and when I just screaming and yelling, all at his crew. And that's where I kind of I like him on camera. I think he's good, he's tough, he's straight, very populistic. But then off camera, I wouldn't want to work with him. I had a feeling he was a bully. He was kind of a jerk. He's a tall guy. He's got a big, intimidating, persona of him. But regardless, Tucker Carlson, who's not like him at all in many ways, is going to replace him in the 8 o'clock slot, starting Monday with Tucker Carlson tonight. O'Reilly, that was probably the most influential cable news pundit ever, because he basically had a show that's run for 20 years. It's been number one, if not all the time, most of the time, is, the most watched cable news show, every night practically. And people just tuned in for him. They want O'Reilly. They didn't care what he was really talking about. I mean, they did, but it was through the O'Reilly filter that, they wanted to see. And I've watched his show many times, but I think what's happening now is that what you're seeing is the old people tend to watch cable news or listen to talk radio. The younger generation like us are doing more online. And when you watch O'Reilly, like I said, you watch it for the man. You watch it for the person. And the same goes for online. You watch it for the person. I think Fox News is going to start dying. All these cable news shows are going to start dying if the people that they want to see are gone. They can get their news anywhere else, but that person is gone now. O'Reilly's gone. So what is the point in watching it if he's not there? And I think you're going to see, Tucker's good. I like Tucker, but I think you're going to see definite rating drop. At the beginning, you're going to see a lot of interest because they're like, oh, it's a new guy, new slot, and so they're going to be curious. But I think it's not going to be the same because nobody, I think, could truly replace O'Reilly. And after all these people that have left Fox, who's left on that channel? They lost Greta, they lost Megan, and they lost O'Reilly. Boom, 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 all like that. And Alex is playing with the screws. But anyway, so I don't know what's going to come next. What do you think?
Well, so he did the thing with his wife. He dragged her down the stairs and beat her unconscious.
Well, his daughter claims he grabbed her by the neck, and then some sort of altercation took place, and he dragged her down the stairs by her neck. I don't know if any of it's true, but that's what she testified. His daughter.
Sounds like he should join the NFL.
Yeah, he likes football, so yeah.
Yeah, him and some players would probably get along very well. But personally,
that guy. Remember the guy punched his wife in the elevator?
In the elevator. Yeah, who
I forget his name. I screwed up the joke.
I hate football. I'm at Penn
I don't like
State.
Sports.
That's just not my cup of tea. But now O'Reilly, he upset me with some of his views. I was fine with him for most of the time, but he was a pro gun control guy, and I wasn't really fond of that.
Yeah,
he did a couple things. He's like, oh, shoot down. What are you gonna do when they got the helicopters out? Well, ask Vietnam.
It's not Ancapistan. We don't have to worry about that.
No, we do have to worry about the helicopters when the government takes over. But that shouldn't. Hopefully, with Trump, that won't happen for another 4 years,
Daddy
8
won't
years.
Let that
hopefully.
happen.
Maybe lifetime. We'll see what happens with Trump. But as for him leaving there, I think that the reasons why he was taken off was absolutely silly. It was. Yeah,
I was shocked.
It was asinine. It was completely it's baloney. They shouldn't have done it for that reason. They should have. If they're going to go and take him out, they need to act. It's just the advertisers are so thin-skinned these days. They're doing that on YouTube too, and people think that like other people actually care that much about advertisers. No, they need to go and get like a radio station with like
like us,
not a radio station, a TV station with like Alex Jones, O'Reilly.
Milo,
Steven
Crowder.
Yeah, so you just get all those people. Do you know how popular that would be?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That would just like annihilate Fox News.
Yeah, you could just start like a Breitbart TV.
Well, no,
I mean, they can't do that
anymore. But
yeah, I know Milo's not Breitbart, but I think Milo's gonna do. I think people don't realize how. Sorry, I'm still dying. I don't think people realize how powerful Milo is. He has such a following. You look at his Facebook, he has so many likes. Like, I think it's like 2 million. And people were like, oh, now he's going to be gone. Now he's not going to come back. My guys, he's coming back. You better watch out. You can't take this guy down.
Well, the problem is these advertisers are so thin-skinned. We just need to go and, like, get more companies over here. Just, like, right-wing companies that take no crap from these like leftists who go and complain about this stuff. Just be like, okay, we'll advertise here. If you don't like us, they'll track the hard right, which the alt-right's rising in America. So they'll, that's a very good idea for them to do. And they could just go and keep advertising. The left would just go and drink all their little Starbucks lattes until they get heart attacks from the caffeine overdose. That's all they do. Well, they just go and drink coffee overpriced. They'll drink this
at Webster's.
Well, yeah. Well, Webster's. Good Lord, I've been to that place once. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how the coffee is, but just the atmosphere. It's probably like
so uber pretentious.
Like they
so
have this,
hipster.
It's like a record store. It's like a record store, and that's like a hipster record store with like these coffees that are probably overpriced. I don't know. I don't know how it is compared to Starbucks. I mean, when I go,
Starbucks is the most expensive.
If the coffee's more than $1, you're paying too much for it. I don't care for that frilly, girly stuff. If I'm gonna have like something girly, may as well be like a cocktail. I'll drink the cocktails, but not like coffee. It's just like a thing. It's the legal alternative to cocaine for most people because it kind of is. Like if you actually look at the chemicals, it's basically the same thing as cocaine minus the intensity. So
O'Reilly should stop drinking coffee. Is that your point?
What O'Reilly should do is just go and like get his own like a web show.
He could do it.
Just have like an alternative to like YouTube where we just like let right wing people speak, and then the left will just go and cry themselves into a tizzy.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that with YouTube. It's a great platform, but it's the only platform for video on the internet. I mean, you have Vimeo and all these other ones, but nobody uses them. They all use YouTube, and that's where all the community is. That's where the audience is. And like people like Paul Joseph Watson are already approaching 1 million subscribers. They're not going to throw that away, like willy-nilly and pick it all back up the next day with a new service. I mean, he might have to eventually, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens because O'Reilly has a big audience. He had the most watched cable news show, basically every night. What's going to happen with him? I don't know. I think he's going to retire. He might just keep doing books, his killing series. I think he's just going to keep doing that.
Killing O'Reilly.
Yeah, I know. Well, Trevor Noah stole my joke. I was going to say on this show, Killing Lincoln, Killing Kennedy. Now he has a new release called Killing My Career. But Trevor Noah stole that joke. I'm not happy about it.
Who is Trevor Noah? What does he do?
He is an annoying, condescending, arrogant guy that took over for Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart. I never liked Jon Stewart.
I wasn't.
He was a leftist. He was a radical leftist. I saw one like that. The British dude took over his show for like a week. And they kept like complaining about gun control. It wasn't even funny. He was like, "Oh, I'm British. I'm John Oliver, and I'm British." Then he's like, Oliver. "Oh, these people." Like at least Colbert. I mean, I know he was a leftist, but at least he was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like sometimes he'd go and make fun of the left itself too, but like. The other guy, that Jon Stewart, he was just like more boring. He's like, I'm a leftist.
Yeah, I don't like those late night talk shows because they turn me off when they're too biased. I wish they attacked both sides because it'd be funny.
We need to have a right wing one. Like what we had one we had like a right wing comedy show for like a season. We had that who was it? The
Sam Hyde.
Yeah, $1 Million Extreme. That was really funny. I enjoyed it. A lot of people enjoyed it. It got good ratings, but there's so much social justice warriors in
Adult Swim.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. The guys did like Tim and Eric's Awesome Show. I think it was. I think it was Tim and Eric's. I mean, I don't really know. They all kind of look like crap to me, but. They complain, they're like, if this guy stays on my network, we're going to stop. And like half of the Adult Swim shows, like what? It's like half anime. Like, they got Samurai Jack on there. They got JoJo.
We have an argument over that.
They got Dragon Ball Z, and then the other half is just like stupid shows. There's like the butt guy with legs. Now that's an actual show. They have the Tim and Eric. They have Squidbillies. It's just like stupid. Like a lot of people probably watch Adult Swim. Or like you got to be like high or something. People just like smoking weed and watching like Squidbillies or some crap like that, or like Adventure Time.
Well, I have to inject a quick point because you said something that offended me, sir. Samurai Jack is not an anime. I'm gonna be watching it tonight at 11, and I encourage you all to watch it because it's a great American animated cartoon series.
You get so autistic over this. It's an anime. Okay, well,
okay, because we gotta get to more important things here, Alex. So I'm gonna do this quickly. It's not anime, and it's very not social justice. If you've seen this new season, all the bad guys are women, and they grow a cult of women to hunt Samurai Jack, and then Samurai Jack beats the crap out of these women, kills them. His actually first human kill is a woman. So that's, that wouldn't make the feminists happy. And at one point, he calls like one of the assassins. When he's trying to turn her to the good side, he goes, a crazy woman. I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that from this show, but it's not very feminist. I'm just saying. But anyway, O'Reilly's gone. We're gonna see what happens with that. But I'm going to miss him because I think he was pretty good on air. Not going to miss him off air because he was kind of a jerk. But there is still fake news out there, and there is a lot of it. And we're going to cover two big fake news things because we want to get to Ann Coulter at the end here because I know you have a lot to say about that. The New York Times, failing New York Times, sent out a tweet. And the tweet had two pictures on it. It had the Patriots, New England Patriots, the football team, because they won the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, yeah.
And in 2015. So they had a picture of them at the White House outside. There are all these, there's like this sort of area where the president is, and he gives a speech about it. And stop laughing at me. I'm kidding. And then there's this area. He keeps thinking about the anime. It's like our longest argument.
That needs to be a discussion for...
Dude, we're going to make that a segment. Like one show where there's a slow news cycle. Maybe next week, because it's going to be our last week and your last week, and I'm going to cry. But we'll do it then. But anyway...
I'll have to visit you next semester.
Oh, yeah, I know. You're going to visit me. I'm probably going to be...
in the showers.
I was going to say while I'm sleeping, but maybe then too, before I go to sleep. Anyway, back to the fake news. There was a picture where I had the Patriots in 2015, 2017. And the tweet reads, Patriots turned out for President Obama in 2015 versus Patriots turned out for President Trump today. And they show in 2015, they're all up the steps. Ooh, look at this. Look how many are here. And then 2017, none of them are on the steps. They're just in that little area where the president's standing. Of course, Trump tweets back, and I'm glad he did. He said, failing New York Times, which has been calling me wrong for 2 years, just calling a big lie concerning New England Patriots' visit to the White House. And the based Patriots fact-checked the New York Times. A freaking football team fact-checked a newspaper, the biggest newspaper in America. And they said, these photos lack context. Facts. In 2015, over 40 football staff, I can't stop laughing, think of other things, they said facts. In 2015, over 40 football staff were on the stairs. In 2017, they were seated on the south lawn. Are they idiots? You could see it in the picture. They're on the lawn. There's actually just two less. There was, I think, like 36 last time players and 34 this time. And Tom Brady, who wasn't there, was because he was having to see his dying mother of cancer. I mean, holy crap. It was so bad. It's just so sad that the New York Times got fact-checked by a football team. They say Trump's obsessed with crowd sizes. They're obsessed with crowd size. The media is super, super obsessed with crowd sizes. I'm gonna give you a quick minute. Then we're gonna go to another fake news. What do you think of this?
Well, I see the problem is they just want to go and virtue signal to the
They
left,
love
like,
that.
oh, Trump, oh, Donald Trump, make it Trump again. He's so terrible. He can't. No one likes him. He's a
like
terrible
him.
person. He sucks at everything he does in life. The only reason he was the president was because of, I don't know, Putin. I mean, that whole argument.
we're gonna get to
dead. That whole argument's kind of dead in the water at this point.
Yeah.
But they're just like, I'm gonna cry for 6 years. I'm gonna go and build
8
like
years.
12 exhibits and have right wing people crash it because I'm a leftist. I'm gonna have that to go like live in a like a lumber house in the middle of Europe.
Oh, after we fail with the flags and fail with the live stream, we're gonna go to a log cabin.
Shia LaBeouf, why does he just go live in
4chan's
France?
onto him.
Why don't you just go live in France? See how get like some refugees living in his house. He should go and just sell all his houses in America to refugees and just have them live over there. Homeless refugees. Yeah, go for it. And have him like live with his family. That'd be even better, especially with his wife.
Does he have a family?
I think he has a wife or something.
Aw.
Just share the bed with a Muslim refugee and see what happens. Just give it to a homeless Muslim in Europe with his wife. And he
that'd
can
be
go
nice.
sleep on the floor.
That'd be nice.
And let's see what happens to his wife.
I mean, he's probably got plenty of money to do it. He could buy another house like Bernie Sanders.
No, have him live in his house. I'm gonna go and see how he does it in his bed.
Yeah, that's true.
And just go in his bedroom.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Yeah, you don't know.
They're harmless. It's not all.
Hashtag not all Muslims.
Yeah, so nothing would happen according to leftists.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Russia, though, the other fake news. Well, it's kind of fake news, but it's on fake news. It pisses me off. This was CNN. I was watching them, and Aaron Burnett is like, "Remember that dossier? Yeah, that dossier? Well, guess what? Next, after the break," I was like, "Oh my God, they're still talking about that thing." Apparently, I don't know how true it is, and nobody really knows, but the FBI supposedly used the dossier to justify a FISA warrant to surveil Trump campaign associate Carter Page, who's his foreign policy advisor at the time. If you don't remember this dossier, and I'm explaining quickly.
Yeah, PP Gate.
Yeah, it was Golden Shower Gate. This was the dossier where they said, it's in the freaking dossier. It says that Trump hired Russian prostitutes to pee on the bed that Obama slept in at the time with Trump in it. I'm like, who's believing this crap? I didn't believe it. BuzzFeed believed it because they're BuzzFeed. And CNN believed
terrible fake news.
Failing pile of garbage.
They're the cancer of the new news industry. Like, good Lord, every time I go onto Facebook, somehow I end up clicking on one of those by accident. They keep getting hit by these stupid articles. And it's not just BuzzFeed. They have all these other fake, like, just these news websites, and you can't even go and like click on it because you keep getting hit by advertisements.
Oh yeah, they
malicious
have
ads. Like your phone got like over 9,000 viruses down this
9,000
down this antivirus software, which will actually probably give you a real virus.
Yep.
And then fake, they that BuzzFeed. Why did they do that? They had stuff about tendies on there. They had a thing on 4chan where they showed who did it. It was obviously created by 4chan. BuzzFeed got it. CNN got it.
Yeah, I
don't believe this. Like, I saw this one kid on my Facebook. He's like tweeting this, like, "Oh, we got the scoop on Trump." I was like,
Watergate.
Do you realize how stupid this makes you look?
I know, it's terrible.
You must be an idiot to believe in any of this.
Idiot.
An idiot, like what sort of person is like, "Oh, we got you now. This is 100% real. We found it from an anonymous source by."
It's unverified. The whole thing is unverified.
It's like, what? No.
It's ridiculous. Like, most news organizations read this and they said it's ridiculous, so they didn't report on it because it's preposterous. When you read it, it's preposterous. But BuzzFeed goes and runs with the freaking thing and annotates it. Like, hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. And it hasn't been proven to 4chan yet, but like you said, there was that one thing you found that has reasonable suspicion that it is. When I first found out, like, someone speculating that, I laughed so hard because I'm like, they would do this. 4chan would do this.
Yeah, they should go and have Sessions take a BuzzFeed to court for like sedition.
Libel.
Like, that's sedition. That's trying to go and discredit the government. Like, it was
you could
completely
argue,
false. Like, if it was any sort of grain of truth, no, they should get the whole thing shut down for this and then numerous other just like cancer that publication spreads.
And it's cancer, and it's lists of cancer.
It's like trying to disrupt national security. This is definitely they should just go and get rid of BuzzFeed.
I don't
shut it
like
down.
BuzzFeed.
It should go the way of like
Deport BuzzFeed.
Well, who was that other thing that Hulk Hogan took down?
Oh, Gawker.
Yeah, it should go the way of Gawker. I mean, Gawker. As much as I hated Gawker, was probably less cancerous than this.
Yeah, you could. I think they were. BuzzFeed is because BuzzFeed started out as just this funny list, site that published lists. Now they're trying to be a legitimate news source, and that's an extremely hard transition to make. Even the BuzzFeed that came here acknowledged that's hard. But moving on, there is also a big headline that's happening this week: more free speech under assault. Anybody that's familiar with Berkeley, what's the first thing you think? Do you think free speech, anti-Vietnam, hippie movement, peace and love, and all this openness? You don't think that anymore, do you? You think Antifa, you think smashing windows, you think Milo being canceled, you think all this anti-free speech stuff. Now we're going to add on to the list with Ann Coulter. She was going to speak at UC Berkeley on April 27th with, she had her security team. She fulfilled all the requirements. She was good to go. And then, out of nowhere, they canceled the talk due to safety concerns. I put that in quotes for a reason. And they offered her then, they're like, okay, but you can speak on May 2nd. And she rejected it, which I think was a smart move. Why did she reject it? Well, first of all, she's not available on that day, according to her. Second, just like Penn State, that's finals week. Yes, we don't have class, but we have to study for finals, which is hard.
I don't got any time.
Okay, well, everybody except you, Alex, and all the other seniors, but we have to study for finals. Now, then the university, they also revealed a date, but they said the talk has to end by 3:30 p.m. That is the worst possible time ever, because if it's finals week and you don't have class, you're going to sleep in late, and then you're going to start studying. You're going to eat lunch, then start studying. It's a terrible time for the talk. But they feared that there would be protesters that night, like, we are so scared.
To be fair, they did have some pretty funny things happen. And that battle at Berkeley,
really?
they had Stickman come out and just go attack. And they had that one girl, oh my God, the hairy one who got punched in the face. Like, they've been digging into her. They found that she was on some sort of, like, an adult website. And it was like a fetish website.
She's a porn star.
It was like, hairy woman gets her, like, hair hole attacked or something.
Oh my God.
Like, what is this? Like, this sounds disgusting. Who would want to watch this?
It's disturbing.
And then they had then Paul found this other teacher who
they found the guy.
The guy would like hit people in the head with like locks.
The bike lock,
yeah, good. He should be fired. He should be sent to jail. They need to go and have at Berkeley, everywhere. They need to go and find these Antifa people, rip their masks off and put them on blast.
They did that in Auburn. Did you see that? They're doing that. They're actually ripping the people's masks off. Like in the South, they don't screw around. California, they're like, the cops are just sitting there. They weren't doing anything.
The mayor was like an Antifa member or something. Someone found that.
That's what Poll thinks. They're searching into these people. Like they were going like screenshot by screenshot, find these faces, and then I don't know how their weaponized what finds this, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They go out and weaponize my sibling. They go out and they find these people. Like I don't know what these guys are doing, but they find them. They found this guy. But what Ann Coulter is doing is really interesting because she, they're afraid these protests. I can understand that, but I don't think that's a reason to back down because, the CRs are actually threatening to sue the school now for freedom of speech and all that. But her proposal, I think, solved the problem the best. She was on, I think, Hannity talking about this, and she said, I have a proposal to allow freedom of speech. Two simple things. If you find any student committing any act of violence against a speaker, expel them.
Yeah.
Right out. Expel them.
Even better than that, why don't we just go and declare Antifa a terrorist organization?
Well, yeah, definitely do that. But this is for the university.
Well, this will fix it everywhere. You see terrorists at your school, they go and deport them.
Yes.
Let's go and send them to jail. Send why don't they just go
send to Guantanamo?
Yeah, send to Guantanamo. Oh my God, I want to go and see them. They're gonna put them over there. You don't have to do it. Just like keep them over there. Don't give them any like Starbucks.
Yeah,
and
Guantanamo.
No bail. Oh.
Yeah.
George Soros ain't gonna save them now.
Yeah, you send them to Guantanamo. They don't get those nice, mocha lattes in the morning. They have to actually, be in a hard, dirty prison.
I heard they get some sandwiches over there.
Oh, I hear they get goat sandwiches too.
Oh no,
but
it's a very special meat.
But anyway, her second proposal was that make the police enforce the laws. And like we saw in the Battle of Berkeley, the police were 99% of them. I don't know if any of them had any interaction. They probably did at some point. They were just sitting there. And it's not like, oh, F the police. Oh, like you're WA on this. No, it's not the police's fault. It's their, hierarchy, their superiors. They're telling them to stand down. But what's interesting is in reaction to this, Milo Yiannopoulos, who we just talked about, and who's coming back on May the 5th, buckle up buttercups, he's having a free speech week in Berkeley with this like giant tent. It's going to be on the campus and the city. He's going to have like YouTubers, bloggers, all kinds of guest speakers. It's going to be party. It's going to be just a free speech, free expression, wonderful week. Brilliant idea. But it gets better. Because in his Facebook post about this, he says, and I quote, "If UC Berkeley does not actively insist in planning the execution of this event, we will extend festivities for an entire month." Holy crap, Antifa's going to lose it. So I can't wait for that. I think it was smart for Ann Coulter to not give in to these people, not let them win. She's setting a precedent of strength, and I think that's fantastic. So if you don't like what somebody's saying, ignore it in the end. Just ignore it. Stop this. We got to shut down events. I'm going to give you the final words before we go off today.
So what I think it's a really great idea, but like a whole month, that's going to be really hard on anyone to go and afford all that.
I don't think it's going to happen. That's why he just makes it so preposterously ridiculous that
Just get private security, and I think it would be good. Or just get those bikers for Trump to come over there. Oh my God, they're just going to beat the crap out of those Antifa people. They can go and like amass that for like 1 or 2 days, but once they go and see some actual resistance, they're going to go crying home to mommy and daddy if they're not in the jail cell.
Yeah.
So,
they're going to go back to their mother's basements where they belong with their Nintendo NES and their Starbucks coffee and their nice scarf collection.
And their vinyls.
Oh, God. I mean, I love vinyls, but like these people ruin vinyls for me.
I'd probably be watching My Little Pony over there.
Oh, Jesus.
An anime. Get their little
not
body
Samurai
pillows.
Jack, though.
And Samurai Jack.
No, they're not cool enough. They don't get it. They don't. It's the anti-anime. I'm telling you, man. It's the anti-anime. It's on. It's on in like 2 hours. I can't wait. But why don't you
get a Samurai Jack body pillow?
Oh, stop it. Stop it. As Milo would say. Anyway, on that note, I think that's a great way to end it, don't you think?
Yeah, that's a good way to end it.
It's always a great way to end it. Thank you for coming on, Alex.
Anytime.
Oh, yeah. This has been... Okay.